Well, this is strange, isn't it? It's Michael here, as hopefully you well know. Obviously, a few weeks ago, Logan did have a tragedy, and as a result, our Vias to Mall Japan coverage that was meant to start going live on the 29th of June did get postponed until we were able to record the season. I am pleased to now say that we have recorded the season, and as a result, you will be hearing it very, very soon. In fact, so soon that tomorrow, if you are a Patreon member, you can hear the first episode. For non-Patreon members, that will be next Wednesday, and we will continue for the next 9 weeks. Meaning that from July the 20th, you can now hear Vias to Mall Japan and watch along with us. 1 episode a week, leading up to the double episode for the finale and reunion as normal. I can also confirm we are still intending on doing Vias to Mall Hong Kong and Philippines, which will be our last season of the year, and you may also hear some more hunted content in between those 2 seasons, but obviously keep an eye on our social media for that. Now, the first episode that we did record after our little unintended break was episode 7 of Vias to Mall Japan, and rather than making you wait 7 weeks to hear that, I'm going to give you a little taste of Vias to Mall Japan episode 7, because there was a long discussion about what happened with Jian, and I know there are still some questions that some of you may have about how Logan's doing and what actually happened with Jian. Obviously, it's a heartbreaking situation, and please continue to be kind and loving with Logan. He is, I think, doing okay. I think he's doing as well as can be expected. I've literally just got off finishing the finale episode with him, and he's in as high spirits as you'd probably anticipate. So yeah, please continue being kind if you get any interactions with Logan, and it will hopefully get a bit easier for him. That's all I can hope for. So I'm going to leave you with this 3 or so minute clip of episode 7 and Logan talking about what actually happened with Jian. And yeah, we will see you from July 20th. See you soon. So yeah, where in the world is Logan Saunders? Let's begin with that.
I'm back home in Vernon. I've been back home for, I guess if we had hung out 2 weeks ago, I guess just under, what's today, Tuesday? I think two weeks. 2 weeks as of today, I've been back home.
Yeah, I think you were flying from Halifax on the Tuesday.
Yeah. So 2 weeks ago, I was in Halifax, and then flew back home into Vernon earlier than planned. I know we're dating ourselves a bit with the recording of this podcast, but this is the first podcast we have recorded since Jian passed.
It is. And obviously, as I said on our social media, all our love does go out to you still. Yeah, it was a bit of a surprise when you sent me that message, I'll be perfectly honest.
That was everyone's reaction, really, was I uploaded the eulogy I did, and then the little discussion.
Which made me cry, you bastard. I have to say, when you sent me the text, it made me cry. I told you weren't allowed to make me cry.
Sorry about that. So we uploaded the eulogy and the round table we had of everyone sharing stories about Jian afterwards, and even that funeral was on Sunday the 26th?
Yes.
Yeah, so was that 9 days ago? So 9 days ago we had Jian's funeral. So what happened with Jian, for those of you who don't know, we were traveling for 6 months straight, and we spent the last 2 weeks in Israel. And we got engaged while we were in Israel. We planned to get married in Indonesia in September. I don't know, when is this podcast supposed to come out, Michael?
I've not decided yet.
Okay, so it's July 5th of 2022 while we're recording this. I know we don't like to do that, but I think we're making an exception here.
Yeah, there's a non-zero chance that this is getting clipped and released separately, so...
Yeah, so... we both were flying. Jian was flying back home to the Philippines. She hadn't been back home in over 6 months or so, and was going to look for a job. And I was flying off to Poland and was going to travel around for a couple more weeks before flying back home. And about 48 hours after Jian got home to the Philippines, she finished and she hired a cleaning lady to clean her apartment. Everything seemed normal. She seemed healthy. She had a doctor's appointment booked the next day because she was having heart and chest issues for the past year and a half, roughly. Yeah, about at least a year or so. And she went out to the public market, came back, started eating some food, and then I didn't hear from her for about 24 hours, contacted her sister. Her sister contacted her other sister, who contacted the landlord. The landlord went into Gian's apartment and they found her dead in her apartment. The autopsy confirmed she suffered from a fatal episode of cardiac arrest. They transported her to her hometown where they had a 5-day wake for her. I believe she's buried in the same cemetery as her mother. Her mother passed about 7 or 8 years ago. I, of course, had my brother in law fly out to Europe, and then, of course, the three of us traveled through London for a couple days. My brother in law and I went through Prague for a couple days after I arranged everything while I was in Poland, which will probably be 48 or 72 hours of my life I'll never forget. We had a 1 day layover in Halifax. It was the first time my brother in law and I got to travel together. We've been talking about doing some sort of trip for 10 years or so. We wouldn't have been able to do this if this hadn't happened, unfortunately. So, yeah, arranged my flights, came back to Canada early, arranged Gian's funeral here within Canada. We had the service, as I said, 9 days ago. Yeah, all the visiting relatives, friends from out of town are back home, and life life continues.
Yeah.